Jeffrey Napa. It's the Doom Show. Hello, hello. This is the Doom Show. Slashers, giallo, and horror. It's the Doom Show. The cuckoo clock interrupts the show. Doomed movie-thon. Death of the old salesman. Sweaty Cameron Mitchell. Hello, hello. This is the Doom Show. Richard Brad, Jeffrey Napa. It's the Doom Show. It's the Doomed Show. Doomed Show.
Hello and welcome to Hello, This is the Doom Show. I am Richard. This is the #1 podcast for Season 7 of Home Improvement. I'm joined, as always, by my very special friend and expert in Season 7 of Home Improvement, Brad. Hello, Brad.
Hello, Tim. How are you?
Are you tool timing it?
Very much so.
And by tool timing it, I mean you're swinging a tool around in your pants.
Yes.
Yay. I think we should take a break from Season 7 of Home Improvement. Talk about something else.
I have a suggestion.
Bring it.
Family Matters.
Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. Yes. Or was that with Urkel?
That's our Urkel, yeah.
Did I knew that? Ho, 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 ho. Oh, God.
TGIF.
TGIF, because it's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Folks, we are talking about Zader from 1983, specifically released on August 10th, 1983, directed by one of our favorite people named Poopy Avati.
The best of the Avatis.
That'd be great if he burst in right now and said, "It's pronounced poop-eye."
Poop-eye.
And I'd be like, "I'm not eating a poop-eye. That's in New York City."
New York City?
Man, we've been talking about doing this one a long time.
Yeah, this was like one that we wanted to say from the start. So it's only taken us how many years?
About 5.
About 5.
I found a trailer for this thing that is so awesome. It is so not what the movie is.
Yes, and I know what you speak of.
Just a second. I have the new loud typewriter. I have the new loud keyboard so everyone can hear me typing on the show louder.
I love it.
It's great. It's a gamer's keyboard because I haven't played video games in 13 years, so perfect.
It's so loud I can actually hear what you're typing, and I think that might be illegal in the States, what you're looking for.
Wasn't that a thing on NCIS where they had a bug inside the keyboard so they could hear the keyboard strokes?
Probably. That sounds about right.
Oh, DiNozzo and McGee, help me. This is the TV spot for Revenge of the Dead, which is the alternate title. This was released to capitalize on the Of the Dead movies.
Mm-hmm.
On the cover of this VHS, which caught my eye when I was a very young man, there's a zombie bursting out of the street, and from a sewer grate, there's a claw hand coming out. So there's lots of zombies bursting out of the sewers, presumably. And what's amazing about this is that if you just look at the art and just transfer it from a VHS tape in your mind, use your imagination like Tim the Toolman Taylor does, and put it on a paperback. Like just take this art and slap it on any paperback horror book from the frickin' 80s. It's classic art. Someone painted this shit and it's gorgeous.
Brilliant.
Of course, I have this poster in my house because some fool was selling it just as Revenge of the Dead, didn't really have it listed as Zader, so I got it for like $15. Amazing. Yep. It is currently stashed behind my poster for, oh shit. I have too many memorabilias. I'm forgetting which one it is, dude. Hold on, let me go look at my wall real quick.
Please do.
Oh, duh. Okay, that was easy. It's on my Night of the Howling Beast poster.
Oh.
There you go. Anyway, long story short, too late. Here is that trailer for Revenge of the Dead. This is a TV spot.
It is written that when the moon The dead shall stalk the earth. Get away from the damn thing! Revenge of the dead. Their time has come. Revenge of the dead. No one under 17 admitted without parent or certified adult guardian.
I don't know, man. I'm feeling my flesh crawl with all the maggots. Oh, before we get started, full spoiler warnings. I advise you to go find this film, beg, borrow, and steal, get a copy of Zader, aka Revenge of the Dead. There's a version of it on YouTube under the Revenge of the Dead title. Just get it. I'm telling you, this movie's amazing.
It really is.
So, spoiler warning, enjoy the whole plot as we talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. And here's the VHS tape, the Lightning Video. Lightning Video put this out in 1984, and here is what they say this movie's about. This bizarre tale of madness and blood-chilling horror focuses on the mysterious findings of a European archaeological team who discover the existence of a powerful, unstoppable force that allows the dead to return to life. Within the confines of these... What? Oh, jeez. This is so overly complicated. Within the confines of 3 obscure archaeological digs lies a mysterious power, or mystical power, whichever, known only as the K-Zone. And that's where you do Special K. Oh, that's a K-hole, I'm sorry. A scientific team dispatched to investigate the strange phenomenon accidentally releases it. Whoops. Before they can reverse the effects of their indiscretion, they are brutally killed by the very cadavers they restored to life, thus unleashing a hopeless, unrelenting flood of destruction with no end in sight. There you go.
Sounds right.
Yep. Man, they got a little science-y in that description.
I also have a VHS of this tape.
What?
A VHS of this film.
You've got the, what is it, the Image VHS?
Yes, sir, I sure do.
Yes!
The Euroshock Collection, Zader, one man's search for an ancient secret, and the dead will rise from their graves.
Yeah!
And on the back, it has directed by, written by, original music by, cinematography by, and the most important film credit of all, film editing by.
Oh. I thought you were going to say, like, it was all credited to one person.
No.
Nice. No, Elizabeth messaged me, I think it was before that Christmas, and she was like, do you think I should go for this one? I'm like, yes, do it. One of the other ones that comes up when you search for Revenge of the Dead is Revenge of the Living Zombies.
Mm.
The one with the dude from Night of the Living Dead, Bill Hinsman.
Mm-hmm. Flesh Eaters.
Yeah, that comes up as one of the potential titles, which I have never seen that one. It looks silly.
Oh, really?
It looks very silly.
I've seen it and I own it.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. It came in one of those zombie packs of DVDs.
Ah.
That is a true story. It is, it's not terrible.
Yeah. He's quite a character, or was quite a character, I heard.
Yeah.
Just like me.
Yes, just like you. That's what I think of you. I often think of.
No, I don't have any character. That's what it is.
No, that's not true.
No. All right, so let's jump into this plot. We get this bombastic music from good old Riz Ortolani.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was reading a terrible review of this movie. One of the books that we keep reaching for on this show, which is Italian Horror by, what's his name? Oh, Jim Harper. Like that dude. He reviewed a bunch of horror movies from Italy from 1979, from Fulci's Zombie up through 96 with Cemetery Man. And he hates everything, including Zader. He talks about how it could have been good and tears into it. He hates the leading man, who we'll talk about in a moment. And he really complains about the music.
Really?
Yeah, he hates the music. And I'm like, oh, I see. This music is different. And you hate things that are different, dumbass.
Ugh.
This music is phenomenal because Riz Ortolani is one of the greatest composers from Italy.
Agreed.
He did things like Cannibal Holocaust, House on the Edge of the Park. Oh my god, Rings of Fear, The Case of the Yellow Pajamas, Death Steps in the Dark, Seven Deaths in the Cat's Eye, Dead or Alive, and it just goes on and on and on. Very prolific, very good. And this music certainly is very arresting.
Yes, it's neat because it's a combination of strings and synth, which the strings may be synth, I don't know, but it's kind of like two different feels that he slaps together.
Oh yeah, got that funky ass bass line.
Mm-hmm.
Man, love it.
Of course, the strings are straight up psycho.
The film starts in a flashback to Chartres. Well, it's called Chartres, France.
Chartres, France. That's pretty much the whole country.
1956. Yeah, I hate to say it, but I don't watch them French movies.
No.
No, I actually do. They're no Home Improvement. I'll tell you that much.
No.
I mean,
I like freedom fries.
dude, I like Liberty Cabbage.
Oh my gosh.
I'm glad I remember things like that because they're stupid. We see this beautiful house in the evening. We see a woman walking up, an older woman, and all of a sudden something is watching her and something is coming. And then there's a rumbling and shaking and the whole building is like crazy. And then this dude pops up out of nowhere. And I wrote, Michael Myers.
Ooh.
So we cut very quickly to a pathologist, to a morgue, where this woman that was attacked, she had her throat ripped out, and some pathologists are talking, and I am already a little confused. This movie jumps into things very quickly. It doesn't give you a lot of time to realize what's going on.
Yeah, when they go to present day, they do that without any kind of warning.
Yeah, it says in Italian later, it says like Bologna something, and it could say Bologna today, but I also got confused, like, oh, it's just all of a sudden not the past.
Right.
We gotta learn our Italian, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Now we cut to some scientists talking, and I'm on my notes, I'm like, who are these men? Cops, scientists, politicians, steel workers. I don't know who these people are. They're talking about this man they're looking for. They're talking about this area, this K zone. We'll be hearing a lot of K zones.
Mm-hmm.
Then they drag out this little weird, frazzled-haired little girl. And this little girl is named Gabriella. And for some reason, she is very sensitive to all of these strange goings-on, the roaring and the shaking of the building and everything. So they take her down to the basement, and you hear this horrible sound, these horrible moans and everything. And we meet Dr. Meyer. Finally, we get introduced to one of these people. Dr. Meyer is played by Cesare Barbetti, who you may remember from such films as Cinema Paradiso, that classic horror film.
Horror.
Yeah. This guy looks really familiar, but I cannot place him.
He's also in Revenge of the Dead.
Oh, I've been wanting to talk about that with you forever. We were putting it off because we were still doing season 6 of Home Improvement.
Well, that is commonly considered to be the piece de resistance of the Home Improvement series.
A lot of people say 6. You and I, we say 7.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's the name of the show. Game show. We're a game show.
Come on down.
And what has this girl won from the game show? Nothing good.
No.
So this guy, Dr. Myers, is about to take her downstairs, and his buddy's like, hey, you want a gun? He goes, nah, dog, give me a flashlight.
Heck yeah.
So they go down in the basement, and as soon as they get down to this very dank-looking, dirt-floored basement, Gabriella flops on the floor, and she starts digging. She's digging like a maniac. She's like a maniac on that floor, Brad.
Yeah, no doubt.
And she's digging like she never digged before.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So Dr. Meyer, asshole, leaves her alone. There's a lot of very insensitive scientists in this movie. He just leaves her alone, yelling, we found him! We found him!
We found him! Down here under the... We found him!
Then a door creaks open, and Gabrielle looks rather nervous. And then all of a sudden we hear her blood-curdling screams coming from the basement. And we cut, and they're carrying her out, and a bunch of like forensic types are digging the floor up, and they find a body. They don't just find his body, Brad. What else do they find buried under the floor?
Her shoe.
Yeah. Gabriella's slipper was ripped off of her foot and then magically transmogrified into the floor. Transmogrified is probably not the right word there, but I said it.
It's close.
Man, there's that cuckoo clock.
Love it.
All right. Oh, yeah, and we hear them murmuring between them that they won't be able to save her leg. Oh, good job, everybody.
Yeah.
So inside the skeleton's wallet, because, as you know, all skeletons are issued identification.
It's the sensible thing to do.
We get the name drop. We get Paulo Zader, and yes, ... this is a K-Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Which so far, to the viewer, for the first time, this is all gibberish.
Issued to Paulo Zader. We found Paulo Zader. A K-Zone. He stumbled across a K-Zone.
We flash forward, not obviously, to Bologna, where we meet the very impressive Stefano and the also impressively lovely Alessandra.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriele Lavia, who you may recognize from Deep Red and a few other lovely things.
Inferno.
Oh, God, yes. Man, that death scene in Inferno. Whoops, spoiler. It's not really a spoiler. So, he is a very interesting actor because, like many actors, he wanted to be a director. Most importantly about Gabriele Lavia is he wanted to direct he and his wife in sexy movies having sex. So if you've ever seen a film with him called Evil Senses, man oh man, Evil Senses is fucking hilarious. It is a really, really, really artsy giallo, but it's like it's a thriller, a sex thriller with some minor giallo stuff. He plays an assassin, and there's just these long, prolonged sex scenes, and it's a very sweaty movie. Mimsy Farmer looks terrified of Gabriele Lavia. It's very strange. As for his fiancée in this movie, Anne Canovas plays Alessandra, and I do not recognize her from anything else. And she was still acting up until pretty recently, too.
Yeah, she's only 59 now.
Whoa.
She was pretty young.
Oh. Good for Gabriele Lavia. If he likes him young. I know he likes him sexy.
He was 42.
Whoa. Nice. He's got like the body of like frickin' Bruce Lee or some shit. We'll get to his sexy body later. So it's their anniversary. She gets a bracelet. He gets a used typewriter, which that doesn't seem fair. Although he could have stolen the bracelet.
I think he probably did. I think we know that.
Now, they're a cute couple, and everything should work out just fine if you turn the movie off right now. But don't. Keep watching.
It didn't have any cord. It was missing, so I had to call the electrician. And he put one on. It types like printing in a book. Just what a writer needs, right?
It's fantastic. I ever tell you you're beautiful?
You ought to see where we got it.
Where?
Mom went to a pawn shop auction.
This is my favorite part of the movie. Not in a good way. It's very funny to me. So they presumably have anniversary sex, and it takes a long time because it's dark. Because when you have anniversary sex, it's the only time you do it for the year, so you gotta do it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Zorro, the Gay Blade.
Do you know that little thing we do one night every year?
Yes. Oh, yes.
We still have 3 months to go.
Anyway, after the making the sex act, which we don't get to see, which is rare for Gabriele Lavia, he gets up and starts typing on his typewriter. And my favorite thing that he does right here is he starts typing novel number 3. And I'm like, ooh! That sounds amazing. Like, Man, wait till you read number 2. It's named after poop.
Uh-huh.
He's typing, and of course, because she bought him a used typewriter, it breaks. And I wrote,
"Nice anniversary present, you fucking bitch."
Yikes.
I know, I'm sorry. That wasn't cool. He pulls the typewriter ribbon out, and for all you kids out there who've never used a typewriter ribbon is a 17-foot long stick that has red, yellow, and blue ribbon wrapped around it, and that's how you type. You bang the stick on the floor.
You know, I didn't know that until now.
It's how cavemen made all those paintings of bison.
Bison.
Banging their sticks.
Bison.
He pulls out the typewriter ribbon and notices in the light that it actually has the previous owner of this used typewriter's letters typed into it. And as he holds it up to the light, he can read. He discovers that they're talking about K-zones. And he's like, what the fuck is a K-zone? And that's what we're all wondering.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you, the viewer, Stefano's going, K-zones? Tell me more. The next day, he stays up all night doing this thing, transcribes the letters, and then he goes to see Dr. Chesi. And Professor Chesi is played by John Stacy. Now, this guy has been in some crazy business. 68 credits.
Did you say John Stamos?
I did say John Stamos. He was Welcome to the House with the guy who hosted America's Funniest Home Videos.
I remember the 90s.
Oh, you mean the 2000s? Because they brought that back. Or the 2010s, right?
Oh, man, we watched it, some of it.
I'm sorry. Well, you said it was okay.
Well, it was crazy.
Crazy's good.
Stephanie?
Yes. I did Google Stephanie.
Yeah, you did. No shame in your game.
I'm going to go ahead and say this actor looks familiar, but I just realized I've never really seen him in any of the things he was in.
Did he ever play the drums for the Beach Boys?
Only from March 1968 through March 1968. Yeah, this guy's just been in a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I was thinking he was more of a proliferizer. Anyway, so this Dr. Chesi is his professor from his school days, and of course, we find out that Stefano's a dropout, which is awesome.
He's 42 years old and still trying to go to college.
We got a few of those on campus. They usually smell terrible.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But I love that Dr. Chesi appears to be a professor of the supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote, fucking liberal arts colleges.
Oh.
Ugh.
Oh.
Ugh.
Oh.
Ugh. Ugh.
Oh.
That's why no one ever graduates, because it's useless.
Yeah.
So he's starting to tell him about the letters, and there's a girl there. Now, my subtitles say Laura.
They do.
But thankfully, IMDb does not tell me who the hell Laura is.
Right.
And he kind of bumps into her, and you don't realize that she's important. In fact, it wasn't until, what did I tell you? This was my 8th or 9th viewing of this movie. I finally realized that this chance meeting was important later, and I'm like, oh shit, I should watch this movie 10 more times. So he asks the professor about the weird letter, and finally, they talk about a Hierophant.
Yes, tell us about the Hierophant.
I'm going to type loudly and look it up. A Hierophant is a person, especially a priest in ancient Greece, who interprets sacred mysteries or esoteric principles. Fucking liberal arts colleges, bro.
Enough said.
They talk about the K-zones, and everything gets super pseudoscience-y. I'll drop some of that knowledge on you here, because, man, it's great. His professor's just like, you're crazy, this is all insane, this is obviously a prank or something. He tries to just talk him out of even going any further with it.
Besides all these numbers, temperature, depth, and so on, here it talks about the guy donating his own body to the experiment. And here, did you read this? The barriers of death shall at last be destroyed, thanks to our work, and my return to life will signal return of all. And this, the place that I have discovered is the place the Hierophant was looking for. What does Hierophant mean?
A master of mystery. Anyway, these K-zones were the results of research by an old emigre named Paulo Zeta, someone who just disappeared into thin air. Briefly, he sustained that all the places of antiquity where contact had been made with the beyond, with the dead, places like Delphi, Epirus, Dodona, and so on, that they all possessed common properties, which he called alchemical, but which we today would define as chemical, or better still, geological similarities. Now, these sites, which he called K-zones, were supposed to be different. That is, they defied all natural laws and existed in a state of suspension, in a non-time, a non-season, a non-growth, and a non-death. Idealistically, a zero time. And it would allow a return from the dead.
Then we get to meet Frito. Okay, his name is not Frito, but I kept hearing it as Frito.
Right.
So I wrote it down as Frito. And his name is Guido. And he's Guido Silvestri, played by Alex Partix... Oh my god. Alex Partexano.
Easy for you to say.
It sounds like a made-up ass name is what it sounds.
This actor was in movies.
Like Revenge of the Dead.
I'm seeing a lot of people that were in Zeder also are in Revenge of the Living Dead.
I'm telling you, it's all connected. He was in The Face with Two Left Feet, but I think it was a bit part. So, there you go.
Didn't you cover that?
We sure did, but I don't remember him at all. Guido is his cop buddy. He's a detective in the Policia. He decides to ask his pal to do a pawn shop inquiry on this friggin' typewriter.
Right, because that's something that you can do.
Oh, it's so awesome. Well, when you have a friend on the police force, you can get these kinds of informations. My friend Jason, he hasn't seen this movie, but as I was telling him about the plot, he's really obsessed with old typewriters, so he's now very excited to watch this. I'm sure I can ask Jason, since he knows about typewriters, how easy it is to get a pawn shop inquiry on one.
I have never owned a typewriter.
Really? Oh man, I used to have a great one. I got it at a thrift store in the 90s so I could type my poetry on it.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. And it was a little Kmart model. It actually had the old Kmart logo on it. It was very small, portable, very nice.
That's awesome.
Yep. I have no idea what happened to it. I probably threw it away. Or I pawned it. And now there's a person reading my bad poetry on the ribbon. Let's track down this K-hole that wrote all this shitty poetry.
This guy's really sad.
What a K-hole. Oh, man. Emo. Finally, he has some information, and he's heading home. In his hallway leading to his apartment, he gets harassed by this Laura character again. Mm-hmm. Now, I always remember this as being his crazy neighbor, but she doesn't live there. She's just being an ass. Like, she seems to want to make out with him. He's like, no, lady, get away from me. And she yells at him. It's really strange. And I wrote in my notes, so that just happened.
Hi. Did I scare you? I was waiting for you.
What do you want?
Come on, I saw you. The way you were looking at me. In Casey's office,
Go on home.
You pig! Son of a bitch!
Look, forget it, huh?
Rotten prick! You asshole!
Yeah, see you around.
You been in shithead! You faggot, fuck off!
We cut to the MVP of this movie, my favorite character in all of Zeder, of course, Miss Goodman, a.k.a. Gabriella, the little girl from earlier. She's all grown up into a very damaged young woman, or just woman. I'm not sure how young she is. But she has a limp, and her they did not save her leg, but now she has a prosthetic leg.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I never noticed that.
Oh yeah, if you look carefully at her leg, the one that was damaged is now like all white, like it's a peg leg, fake leg.
Wow.
Oh yeah, which just makes her sexier.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
Because everyone wants to rub on the nub. My one friend who had his leg missing would just ask people to rub his nub.
Wow.
I take that to mean that everyone who has one leg enjoys that. Maybe I shouldn't assume that.
I mean, I think it's a safe assumption, really.
It had a little muscle at the end, too, so you could wiggle it. Anyway, moving on. Let's not. Let's just stay on that subject. So she's at the library. I believe she's at the Vatican Library checking out some shit. And we get some nice, dun 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 music to make us realize she's important. Stefano goes looking for the author of the letter, a guy named Don Luigi. The guy he meets is listed in the credits as Giovanni Faux Don Luigi on IMDb.
Really? That's cool.
That's my favorite credit ever that someone is being falsely listed as. I love it. Faux Don. And this guy is just a guy in tracksuit, most of Italy.
Right.
Now, he doesn't claim to be Don Luigi, but he lets Stefano draw the conclusion that he is. It's very funny.
It is.
He's going through all these papers in this house where Don Luigi is supposed to live. And he's just trashing the place. What the fuck makes Stefano think this is the guy? It clearly is some kind of a monster. But he shows him the letter and everything, and he tells him all about it. And then, of course, he goes, "No, this is crazy. I don't know what you're talking about." And so he just gives up. And finally, we get to the bread and butter of this film. Dudes swimming. Why aren't they nude, Brad? What is the point?
I don't know. I always swim in the nude.
I know. That's how we met.
Exactly.
Night swimming, REM song, boo-ba-da-boo, gay stuff in the shower. Presumably. I thought that's what that song was about.
I think it is.
So, the lights go out at the pool, and these guys are obviously not normal because they don't immediately make love. Guido, a.k.a. Frito, goes looking to figure out what's going on. We hear this weird sounds and everything. It's a very creepy scene.
Yeah, it is.
And then Guido just doesn't come back, so Stefano jumps out of the pool, and this is when we get to see his totally rockin' bod.
Man.
What the fuck, man? I wanted to do push-ups, but you know what I didn't do?
Push-ups.
Right. Or anything else activity-based.
Right.
I continued watching the film.
I bought a hover round.
Now I'm free to see the world.
I bought a Snuggie.
Now, there's the Snuggie, the blanket that has sleeves.
And we're set.
Oh, my God. No one's going to watch us flopping around in a pool. God bless America.
No, sir.
He goes back to the showers, and Guido's acting really strange. He's like, "Oh, I don't know. Lights came back on. I don't know." And that's my Guido impression.
It's pretty good.
That's when Thank you. That's when Stefano discovers that the papers that he typed up and the ribbon, both of them are just gone. Guido just acts like, "I don't know, I didn't do it." But it's so obvious that there's a connection here, dude.
Yeah, except to Stefano.
Yeah. Stefano goes back to the church, goes back to that house where the Don Luigi is supposed to be. He meets old Don Emidio. Don Emidio is, he's the key to all of this. No, I'm just kidding. He's just an old dude. But he does tell Stefano that Don Luigi's been gone. He's just gone. Disappeared years ago.
Right.
So then he introduces him to Don Mario. Don Mario. And he's played by Aldo Sassi, who you'll remember from this IMDb page I just closed.
Right.
Now, Don Mario, he tells Stefano that Don Luigi used to be a good man, but his studies in the occult, which is how I'm going to say it because I love these old movies, they drove him crazy, and so he fled the church. The last they heard was he lived with his sister in Rimini. Which, for all of you Italian scholars out there, it is somewhere in Italy.
They know.
They're like, "You want the address?" And he's like, "Fuck yeah, I want the address, motherfucker!" So we finally go to... I was going to put crickets in there. So finally, we get back to Chartres, or Chart, as we call it. And we see Gabriella. Gabriella is meeting with Dr. Meyer, and we know that it's Dr. Meyer because he's now old and has that gray, spray paint in his hair.
Yes.
And she wants to know the truth, no matter what the cost. These K-zones are dangerous. She lost her leg. A lot of people were killed. She doesn't care, man.
Gabriella, I'm very worried about you. Now that the most delicate phase is about to
You
begin.
mustn't be. I have one more reason than you and the others. A reason that's hard to forget. At any price, I have to understand.
So they meet the professor. Now, Brad, this professor, unless I'm mistaken, is credited as Mr. Big in the IMDb.
Yeah, I saw someone was credited as Mr. Big.
But I think it's meant to be funny because this gentleman is a very short stature. Ha 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 ha.
Perhaps.
This actor is Bob Tonelli. Bob, I said that really strangely. This is Bob Tonelli. You may recognize him as the mayor in House of the Laughing Windows, also by good old Poopy.
He's probably one of my favorite midgets.
Yep. He's very much of the stature of the Arm in Twin Peaks. Like, they got that similar kind of a body type. I always forget the name of the actor who plays the Arm in Twin Peaks. What's that dude's name? Gonna clickety click. The man from another place. I always call him the Arm because he says, I am the Arm. You know, in reverse talking.
Right.
Played by Michael J. Anderson. Yay.
He was in Carnivale.
I learned so little from me and Simon talking about Twin Peaks for 6 hours.
Yeah, let me say something here.
Please.
You always hear these foreign people come over here, and they say, I learned English by watching American television. And I always call bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been watching Italian horror films for like a decade. And all I know is pronto, which doesn't even mean fast or now. It means hello.
I learned aiuto, aiuto.
See, I don't even know what that means.
That means help.
Oh.
All those Giallo ladies are screaming it. They never get it.
They never get it. Oh, they get it all right.
He tells Dr. Meyer and Gabriella, like, don't fuck with death. Just let it go. Death is a part of life. You shouldn't be doing this. And they are not backing down. They're going to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it. They're like, this won't end in horrible tragedy, y'all.
Mm-mm.
You've devoted 30 years of your life to this business, yet without taking a certain important factor into account, which is that each year here on this earth, about 200 or 300 million of us pass on. Meyer, 300 million. It's the certainty on which life is based, Doctor. It's an indispensable process, and fortunately, up to now, we have had no counterindications. So let's admit it. A demise isn't a treatable malady. It's a pure end, an absolute state reached by a total event which is final and for good.
Paulo Zeder offered his life for the sake of his research, having himself secretly buried in that ground, under that house, to demonstrate that his theories were well-founded. There may be a way to come back, and we're about to discover it. You yourself have been with us from the beginning. You've even encouraged us, helped us. And now? You're asking us to leave off now?
The risks?
The risks will occur far away from here, Professor. From tonight on, the risks will be ours alone.
We go back to Stefano, who gets a phone call, and I love this part. It's Laura, our favorite shithead character. And I say shithead because she calls him a shithead.
She does.
Oh, it's great. Now, did you see the name of the place she wants to meet him? Did you catch the name of this place?
I did not.
I didn't either, but I thought I saw macaroni, so I wrote, meet me at Macaroni Gardens, shithead. That's what I wrote in my notes. Oh my god. So, she is such a dick. And this is what I wrote in my notes. Oh, Laura. Like, this is when I finally, after all these years, put together that she was that crazy quote-unquote neighbor of his.
Oh, yeah.
So she works for Dr. Chesi, and somehow she knows something about what's going on. I still don't know how she knows anything. We will never know how she knows, or what she knows, because she's about to be brutally murdered.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in this dark, scary place in Italy at night, waiting for Stefano. And then two thugs step out, and they brutally stab her to death.
They do indeed.
One of these thugs is, I believe, Faux Don Luigi.
Faux Don Luigi.
With the tracksuit. Oh, he's not wearing his tracksuit. He's wearing a jacket. He's upgraded his wardrobe for this murder.
Yeah, he's being classy.
I like it. He holds her while the unseen person stabs her, and she scratches that person's hand real bad. That will come up later.
It will.
But how about this death scene, dude? It's freaking... Whoa.
It's pretty brutal.
it lets you know the stakes are very high here. We just don't know anything. Yay.
Apple, where are you? Stefano! What a jerk you are. What, are you trying to scare me? Who the hell are you? What do you want?
Now, Stefano is actually really upset by her not missing the meeting. Like, it almost feels like he knew that she was killed, the way he's, like, taking this really hard. Because he's getting very paranoid now. Like, he talks about the appointment never kept. It, like, seems to disturb him. And he says, "Yo, bitch, let's go to Rimini."
We're off to Rimini, y'all.
And Alessandra's like, "That place in Italy?" And he says, "Yeah, motherfucker. I mean, bitch."
I don't remember that part.
Me neither. I made it up. No, wait, I remember it because I made it up.
That's right.
Hey. So while she's at the beach, he goes to this sister's house, this elusive sister of Don Luigi, who I don't know why they didn't hype more on the back of the VHS tape.
Really?
Like the movie with Don Luigi's sister.
And Faux Don Luigi.
Revenge of the Faux Don.
Faux Don.
Is it like a Faux Don torpedo?
It's exactly like that.
Star Trek is cool! I should have pretended it was Star Wars. That would have been better. Almost. I like to mix them up.
Well, it's funny when you do.
Aren't they the same?
No, Richard, they're not.
You are very wise.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we meet Don Luigi's sister, and wow, she's a real friendly gal.
Yeah, she's got it going on.
Man, I'm very glad we got to meet this very not great lady. Now, Stefano pretends that he knew Don Luigi when he was a kid, and that he had talked to him about renting the room, because this room upstairs where Don Luigi lived is for rent. So he uses a couple of lies to see which one sticks. And the lady's like, okay. So she gets up, in a very atmospheric moment, she comes towards him, and we find out she's blind. And she gives him the key and sends him upstairs, and he starts rooting around. Now here's where we get our Fritos. We got a little bag of Fritos, because as he's about to give up in this trashed room, because of course the room looks trashed, and the door's open leading out, so it looks like someone was just there, he sees a pin. Oh, I wrote in my notes about half a page ago to mention the cop pin, and I forgot.
They got it at a flea market.
Oh my god, it's so cute. So they buy... Alessandra and Stefano buy their friend Frito a cop pin, and it's this really gaudy, ugly silver pin with a gun and a pair of handcuffs on it. And of course, if I'd remembered to mention it earlier, it would make more sense now, but he sees his buddy's pin just on the floor, and it's like, what was my friend doing here?
Yeah, because that's the only gun and handcuff pin ever made.
Well, I hope it is, because it's god-awful.
It's terrible.
You know what you get your cop friend? You get him a gun, because they don't get guns where they work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stupid pin.
Italy.
They get, like, submachine guns in Italy. It's pretty awesome.
Everything I know about Italian law enforcement, I learned from Lucio Fulci's Contraband.
Man, I'm telling you. That's all you need to know. That's all I know about Italy is from that movie.
Yeah.
Don't get in the bed. It'll blow up.
Exactly.
So he goes down to the bar, or goes down to the cafe and tries to call Guido to ask him what's going on. And the very unfriendly police officer on the other line is like, he got transferred, click. Stefano decides to give it up. And then we see the most important scene in the movie. The cuckoo clock says, yes, you're right. Alessandra in a bikini. Oh, yeah.
I had one problem with her. Do you know what that was?
What?
You know what that was. I don't even want to say it.
She had the towel wrapped around her waist so you couldn't see her butt?
Well, that's another problem.
Small boobs?
You're getting closer. Hairy armpits.
Oh! Oh, man. I have never noticed that. I must be too into these Italian ladies.
It's true.
It's like when you say European and everyone looks at your crotch to see if it's true.
See if it's going on right now.
Whiz, whiz, whiz. So,
whiz, whiz, whiz.
I'd really like her in a bikini, though. She's so cute.
Oh, she is so cute.
Stefano's tired of this mystery. He's like, I'm giving up. Let's get the hell out of here. But then outside, he sees faux Don Luigi.
Mm-hmm.
And he's packing up the sister into the car and they're going somewhere.
Every time he tries to get out, they pull him back in.
Yeah, man. I love that quote from Apocalypse Now.
Mm-hmm. I think it's The Outsiders.
I'm sorry, my methods are unsound.
Oh, well.
Quotes. So they follow faux Don and the sister to cemetery. And Alessandra's like, well, this guy knows what you look like. I better follow. So she goes, and we see that faux Don Luigi is bringing the blind sister to a rando grave.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the way the lady acts when she gets to the grave is very disturbing. Was she his sister, his wife, both?
Probably.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because she's blind.
Exactly. If you can't see it, then it's not your brother.
Mm-mm. It never happened.
Whoa. After this revelation that faux Don is just a faux dick, or a real dick. Sorry. I let my computer log me out.
Oh, it's at one of those time deals?
Yeah, I need to set it to longer. And type my password 900 times.
That is a very long password. Click, 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 click.
Click, 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 click. Stop reading my type in North Korea. They go see Dr. Blank, a friend of the family. Now, I got really confused as to who this doctor is. I believe that this is Dr. Mellis. And this Dr. Mellis has known Alessandra for her whole life. They used to live near each other. The important thing about this guy is that his hand is bandaged.
Did you hear? He said, your father and I, we were so broke that we planned our future of you marrying my son.
Yes.
And it's like, well, if you were both broke, how is that going to bring in money?
That's a very good question. I didn't think about the logistics of that.
I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, what I love is that he's so passive aggressive with her. Like, yeah, he's still in college, but one day he'll finish. And he's a karate expert, huh? Look what he did to my hand. Definitely.
Oh my gosh! I told Elizabeth that was a Pieces moment.
Oh shit! Nice. Must have had some bad chop suey and hurt your hand. Racist bastard.
Anyway, see you later.
Oh, hey, it's my Kung Fu professor. What's the story, Chow?
Oh, I am out jogging, and next thing I know, I am on ground. Something I eat. Bad chop suey. So long.
Take it easy.
So, man, that movie. Coming soon to this show. We'll just talk about Pieces the rest of this series of episodes forever.
Home Improvement.
Excuse me, Home Improvement Pieces. Mm-hmm.
And to think that when you were 10 years old, your father and I were so poor, we used to plan how you and my Francesco would get married, remember?
No, not very well.
He's grown into a real giant. He still hasn't graduated from college, but he's a karate expert. Look at what he did to my poor hand last Monday afternoon.
They talk. Stefano lies to get some more information out of this guy, and because they're trying to find out where the real Don Luigi's buried. And they find this really interesting trivia about the real Don Luigi, the non-faux version.
Right.
Is he says, don't bury me in Rimini. That was his last request, which will actually be kind of a funny irony later. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Whew, man, this movie is a complicated ass movie.
It really is.
I love it. So they go to the tomb of the real Don Luigi, and the stone is cracked. This has been repaired recently. While Alessandra's getting bored doing this stuff, she leaves. And while Stefano's alone, He finds out the grave is empty using the old Kentucky wire technique.
Right. I'm very familiar with probing graves with a wire.
See, folks, you don't know this about Brad, but he's a lineman. He hangs up all the telegraph wires, and so when in the telegraph industry, you have a lot of body snatching, so you have to stick a wire in the old graves.
It's true. I'm a lineman for the county.
Do you ride the main roads?
Sometimes.
Hey, can I tell you something? I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time.
This is getting weird.
That
man.
song is fucking weird. We have something that every horror movie has, without exception, which is a pigeon scare.
Oh my gosh. Probably the best pigeon scare of the 80s, if I had to say.
It helps that the pigeons sound like fucking pterodactyls being ripped in half. I just scared the cat making that noise. Crisco just looked up like, what?
Scared our cat. We don't even have one.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. Yeah, Crisco's got his new nook now that we've got our new furniture. He's very happy. But he's like, nope, you scared me, I'm leaving. Later, dude.
Really?
Yeah, we did a lot of furniture rearranging.
He hangs out there a lot?
Well, Margie knitted him a bed a long time ago. Unfortunately, every time we wash it, it gets a little smaller. It shrinks. But he still lays on it. It's cute. If I rubbed it in the face of a person who was allergic to cats, they'd die.
You should edit that out in case that happens and you're arrested.
You heard it here first, folks. My plan to murder.
Inspector, how did this man die? Someone rubbed his face with a cat bed. I'll call you immediately and say, you've got to get out of the country, Richard. They're on to you.
Take down that Zader episode. I'll be like, no one listened to it. Anyway, there's a great moment that I think Poopy Avadi may have liberally borrowed from a certain film called Cat o' Nine Tails.
Yes.
All of a sudden, the large stone door of this tomb that he's in starts to close, and he's trapped in there. Not quite as elaborate as the Cat o' Nine Tails, obviously, but still, you can't not think of that scene.
No, not at all.
The scientists, we see, they've stolen the body of Don Luigi, the real Don Luigi. Whoa, that would be a good biography. The real Don Luigi.
You thought you knew the story, but now learn the real story.
Part 1, the first part of the story. So they take his body, they put him in a metal coffin, they weld it shut, drill a hole in it, and install a camera, which is what I actually want. It's in my will that scientists watch my body decay.
Dude, I will make sure it happens.
And have it, broadcasting to a YouTube channel. Called Dick's Dead. Dick's Dead, Dead Dick. I don't know. So we see this really elaborate setup. There's cameras everywhere. Everyone's spouting off that pseudoscience. But Brad, one of the researchers, has a bandaged hand.
Coincidence? I think not.
I think not. I think not.
I think not.
I think not. I think not. I like our line reading. That was good.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah. Stefano and Alessandro are leaving Rimini, finally. That's when they spot Spina. Now, Spina is not Rimini.
Duh.
It's an ancient burial ground. And this ancient burial ground it's near the K-Zone. And then we discover this building. Now, this building, it's called a holiday camp, but I think it looks like a fucking mental institution.
That's what I think.
Or a really, really unstable car park.
An unstable car park.
Oh my god. So, we're getting more details in this story. Like, this ancient burial ground was rumored to have all these, tales of, like dead stuff or whatever.
Right.
Very eloquent, I think. And so this is definitive proof to Stefano that this, holiday camp is the K-Zone. Plus, Don Luigi had a very crappy picture of this place on the wall because that's where Don Luigi took the children for their holidays, which is just, what is this place?
Well, it was a nudist camp for a little while.
Oh, we get to meet Mirko. Mirko! Speaking of nudist camps and someone you would never actually want to see at a nudist camp, because Stefano won't give it up, he goes to this gas station / hotel, which everyone knows is going to be a nice place to stay.
Certainly.
He won't leave this area, so Alessandra flips off. She definitely flips him off. She gets in the car and leaves.
Yeah.
And then we meet frickin' Mirko. Now this guy, Mirko, whatever, he's a sex machine, clearly. Played by Ennio Ferrario, which I think he made that name up for himself.
It sounds like it.
And my favorite thing, like his job is to keep a certain patch of concrete wet all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He has the hose and he's just hosing down the frickin' concrete. And I'm like, what?
Makes sense, really, when you think about it.
You know how women are.
Yeah, I know something about them. I got a mother who's a real terror. What are you studying, ruins?
Mm-hmm. Ruins. Ah, you got a motel?
You bet, and a restaurant too, but when they get finished with that place, we'll have to close.
They making it into a hotel?
Yep. You better believe it. God, these Frenchies. Over 1,000 rooms, all with color TV.
I wrote that he's such a hottie. Phone calls.
Calls from the public. Calls.
There we go. Hello? Oh, they hung up on me.
What a bunch of dicks.
That was Washington, D.C. calling.
Probably somebody important.
We certainly talked about Steve Bannon a lot in the Paganini horror episode.
Wow.
Could have been him. Like, hey, you got any rum? Pour it in my shorts. That's my Steve Bannon impression. Thank you.
That's pretty good.
I thought so, too.
Now, is he in Paganini horror?
Steve Bannon?
Mm-hmm.
No, but we talked about his face a lot.
Okay.
His rum-soaked features.
Rum.
I know. While Stefano's asking Mirko about this place, of course Mirko doesn't know shit, but he says, hey, old Benny will know. And we get to meet old Benny, and he is played by Enrico Ardizzone. And this guy, nope. I think Pupi Avati just cast people that have never been in anything else.
It's possible.
Or they haven't been in anything horrifying enough. I wrote in my notes that Benny has the sloop, but I think that was supposed to be Scoop.
I think so.
Yeah. We get further confirmation that there was a nudist colony, but Benny tells a really creepy story about how they buried their dead dog out there, and then people started hearing the dog howling at night, and it was hunting people and killing people. It's actually really a cool, creepy story.
Yeah, someone should, write a novel like that.
Like where if you bury something in a specific place, it will come back to you, but it'll be evil.
I think you've hit upon something there.
Yeah. Stephen King, everybody. We're talking about that famous book he wrote called Carrie.
Yeah. Stephen King, salacious horror film stealer ideas.
He is a salacious whore. Wait. When did Pet Sematary come out?
The following year.
Oh. Yeah, it's just in the air, man. It was in the air that night. He knew he'd write Pet Sematary.
I love it.
Man, ABBA, dropping the ABBA. I love it.
ABBA.
Oh my God. ABBA. That's how all their songs are written.
Mm-hmm.
I know what everyone else knows, that it was a kids' holiday camp. That is until 56. But then they closed it.
And then?
Well, nothing until 8 years ago. That was the year those nudists came. Now, there's a bunch of weirdies flitting around with their goodies hanging out of their underpants.
So what happened?
Well, these perverts, of course, that's all they are. Sit the whole day sunbathing in the nude. So they have this collie there, and the pooch dies. And what do you think they do? They bury it out there on the grounds, and they leave. Well, after that, anybody went by there at night risked his life. You know, when they found Aunt Maria Louisa, their neck looked like her grizzly bear had taken and caught it. So anyhow, one Monday night, a bunch of guys decided to go in there, me and, I don't know, 6 or 8 other fellas. And there was one of them weirdos there. Now, we had our rifles with us, so he was pretty darn quick about telling us. And we pulled it out of the ground. That dog was buried a good 6 feet under. And what else did we find? A pair of garden shears that belonged to old Aunt Maria Louisa, buried to the hilt in the dog's neck. Now, when we dug him up, it was 3 months since they buried him. You think that dog had rotted? Not at all. So we put him in the truck and we took him over to the incinerator. And that was the end of that.
Stefano takes this information of creepitude and goes to snoop around this place at night. And while he's snooping around, he hears... Or no, he's creeping around during the day. He's just creeping around in all hours of the day.
Just a creeper.
Just a general Gabrielle Lavia creep face. And while he's snooping around, he hears voices and someone's chasing him. There's a creepy laugh, and finally he runs into good old Don Mario. And he's there picking blackberries.
Of course he is.
Well, that's his excuse. Not suspicious at all.
Not at all.
He says a great line.
We priests never tell lies. It's in the contract.
It's true.
I'm glad they signed that. He gives him a warning. He tells Stefano to let this go, give it up, and get the hell out of town. And Stefano immediately listens and leaves and gives up. The end.
Great film.
Yeah, I liked it. Thanks, Brad. Good night.
You're welcome.
Of course, the priest doesn't heed his own warning because he wants to find out what happened to Don Luigi, the real Don Luigi. And while he's snooping around at night, he hears some breathing and he sees something moving in the ground. And then you hear a, no!
What do you reckon happened?
We'll never know, because I don't watch this boring movie. Lame. So back at the hotel, Alessandra scares Stefano half to death just by showing up. She's in a bit of a state, and she's very upset because she hands in the newspaper, and it is reporting that Guido, their cop friend, or Frido, is dead, which is very sad. He'll never help Tim Allen with Tool Time anymore.
Ever.
What's the guy with the beard on that show?
Al.
Man, I'll miss Guido and Frido and Al.
You can call me Betty. Betty, when you call me, you could call me Al.
You know what's funny is I heard that song the other day while I was at the gas station, and I was like, Vampire Weekend, you stole the whole thing.
The whole thing,
Man.
Gone.
If it wasn't for that song, there would be no Vampire Weekend.
No, there would not.
Oh, it's just so similar. I love it. Anyway, she says that it's definitely just an accident that happened to Guido. She says there's nothing suspicious about this at all. And Stefano is like, no? She says to Stefano, you couldn't find a more suicidal room than this? And he's like, well, if you go downstairs, you can meet Mirko and see his bedroom.
Oh my gosh.
He tried to stay there. I mean, for different reasons. That's when Stefano finds the cord for the typewriter. Now, this is funny. The used typewriter, they jerry-rigged the cable with some frickin' masking tape to make it work. I still think she got a better deal with that bracelet.
Yeah.
So he finds the cord that proves that Don Luigi, who was the original owner of the typewriter, had stayed in that very room. And I almost forgot but there it is.
There it is.
Alessandra decides to lighten the mood a little bit by saying, you know, my friend says that making love is a cure for sadness. And in the best cut ever, Stefano goes, what? And cut.
I don't know. This mystery makes me flaccid.
I'm just kidding. Clearly the mystery makes him rock hard.
Oh my gosh. Flaccid, which is actually flaccid.
Good pronunciation.
Thank you.
That's like Unknown. I don't know. We'll never know. It's Unknown.
It's Unknown. This episode is pure chaos.
If I was like 11-year-old me, I would have said typewriter, because I thought that's how it was pronounced. Stefano types on the typewriter.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was reading. We had business class in
the 6th grade
in Jupiter Middle. Yeah, we had business class. It was 6th or 7th, and I was reading aloud from our typing book, and we're going to learn how to type the proper way, and
right?
So we wouldn't all be henpecking at the typewriter.
I still do it,
and I kept reading. I was reading this paragraph, and the class is laughing. The class is laughing. Finally, I was like, "What?" And they're like, "You're saying typewriter," and I was really embarrassed. It's a true story.
I'm glad you recovered.
No, I didn't. Listen.
Oh.
Listen. See?
Oh, is that your typewriter?
Fuck you, man! It's not as embarrassing as labs. Did I ever tell you about labs? I was reading in the science class, like pretty near to that incident, and I was reading from the science book, and everyone started laughing. I'm like, "What are you laughing at?" And they're like, "What are labs?" I was like, 25 labs, 75 labs.
Oh my gosh!
Because LBS is pounds, but I was reading it as labs, and I kept telling them that that's how my parents said it, but that was a lie. Because my parents can't read.
And you're going to laugh about this, when I was in the 7th grade, this awful, awful kid that bullied me, he's like, "Do you have a clit?" And I had no idea what a clit was. I barely know now, but so I don't know if that's like you need to teach your kids sexual terms early so they won't be made fun of.
Oh my God. Like, you mean sexual terms like typewriter?
Typewriter, labs.
Clit.
Clit.
God, to this day, I've still never found mine.
Yeah. In a journey of self-discovery, I think.
I'll be right back. We got time. The next morning, Mirko is telling Stefano all about the equipment that the scientists have brought in, lights, etc. And he tells them, "I know this because of my supervisor."
Right.
He's like, "You're what?" He's like, "Come up on the roof. I'll show you my supervisor." So from a catalog, Mirko purchased a telescope, and it's a supervisor.
Mirko is just like us. Does not know what things are called.
Exactly. Go back to hosing down the fucking concrete, you son of a bitch.
Oh my gosh.
He tells Stefano a good way to sneak in, since there's an electric fence around the place, which makes me think of...
No need to explain when you got a drain. Don't whiz on the electric fence.
Yes. So Stefano sneaks in. The place seems abandoned, but he finds this room with monitors everywhere. While he's standing there looking at all this stuff, the equipment flickers on. The camera that's pointed at the dead man is like a live feed to this camera. So he's just looking at this videotape of this corpse. And then, of course, Stefano has to hide from the scientists returning. And he steals a tape from the VCR, hoping that, this will be proof that... at most, he's going to have the proof that these people have stolen the body of Don Luigi and are, like, masturbating over it or something.
Right.
Which is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
But I did that with the faux Don Luigi, so it was okay. Brad, how about this frickin' place? The inside of this holiday camp, quote-unquote. How frickin' vibe is this shit, dude?
Very.
Ugh.
Very.
So it's just, this is what I, would be pursuing. I saw this film a long time ago and just tapped into my brain. I didn't know it at the time, but I would be pursuing this kind of weird, abstract spaces that, for some reason, Italians just really know how to capture on film. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Once he gets back, he shows Alessandra the VHS tape. Or actually, I think it's beta. But he doesn't have a player, of course, because, he's a cheapskate. I mean, look at that bracelet.
Really?
She's not impressed with any of the things he's found. She wants him to go to the cops. Oh, no, he wants to go to the cops with what he knows. But he wants to make sure that the scientists won't be able to clean up all the evidence. They try to hurry to leave this shithole, and the car won't start.
Mm.
So Mirko, of course, volunteers to take Alessandra to the train station, and on the train, Alessandra is harassed by faux Don Luigi. But just when she's about to get gotten, Dr. God, what was his name? God, I can never remember this guy's name. Dr. Mellis, her childhood friend, rescues her. Or childhood family friend, or whatever. Rescues her at the last second. Or does he?
Dun, dun, dun.
So while Stefano is alone, he's spying on the holiday camp, and he sees something creepy that night. He sees through the supervisor Don Luigi undead and walking around.
Ooh.
What a great moment when they make eye contact, when just for a split second Don Luigi looks right at Stefano, looking at him from across the frickin' way. It's so good. I would never look in a supervisor again.
No, never.
Hell, I don't look in them now. So Dr. Chessie, his buddy, who's a professor of supernatural, those fucking liberal arts colleges.
I'm telling you.
He calls, and again, Stefano is being warned to let this go. Just let it go, bro. It reminds me of that Kids in the Hall sketch.
Yoo-hoo! An oil subject. We strongly recommend you stay down.
I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you remember that one.
I don't.
Okay, it's a good one. It's when the queen is telling the guy to stay down. It's great. Benny shows up, and he's like, hey, man, we're both screwed. Like, he's hip to this conspiracy. He feels like it's closing in on the both of them. So they decide to work together to go gather evidence. And as they're going, they hear all these blood-curdling screams. Stefano tries to be heroic and rushes, leaving Benny in this little tunnel thing right near the complex. So Benny's sitting like he was resting because he's old, you know. He's trying to catch his breath, and all of a sudden the hands start coming through the wall and just grab his neck, and he gets gotten. While Stefano's running through the complex, he actually finds headless foe Don Luigi.
Yes.
I have to say, it is with no small amount of personal pleasure to see that character dead. That guy sucks. I hate that guy.
Yeah. No good.
It's one of those funny moments where it looks really cheesy because, of course, they have the actor buried up to his neck in the floor or sticking his head through the hole in the floor. I'm like, that's really cheesy. But then the camera pans back and you see his body like just a few feet away with the headless body. I'm like, all right, you win. That looks pretty great.
Yeah, it does look good.
Man, I just want to kick it and pee on it. Because I hate him. Then Stefano is following these screams, and he goes to the room with all the monitors. And so we get a great scare with Gabriella bursting through the door, and her arm has been ripped off.
Oh boy.
She bleeds all over Stefano and falls to the floor, and she's begging him to unbury Don Luigi. You've got to unbury him or this will never stop. And then she dies. And I wrote, y'all got what you deserved.
Yeah, you did.
Unbury him. Pull him out of that ground. For the love of God.
So the alarms start going off. That's the thing about this place and all their equipment, is they actually have everything alarmed, and the lights will flash, and this crazy siren goes off whenever there's K-zone activity. And then the face of Don Luigi on the TV screen slowly opens his eyes and starts laughing at Stefano. And then he comes through the floor and tries to grab Stefano. Now we have the slowest chase scene in the history of chase scenes. Stefano is running for his life, but it's one of those moments where it's like a nightmare, where you're going as fast as you can, but it's not enough.
Not working.
The real Don Luigi is just slowly coming after him. You know that he's done for. Stefano manages to get back into that pit, like that little tunnel system or whatever, where Benny lies dead, and he passes out. A very inopportune time to pass out, I would think. Now we cut to the scientist. We go back to quote-unquote Mr. Big, and of course, faux Don Luigi is dead. Gabriella is dead, but the conspiracy doctor, Dr. Mellis, he's there reporting what a great success it was. And Dr. Meyer, who's all old now, he's reporting what a great success this experiment was. That even though we had some casualties. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, those folks were expendable.
It's so funny. So we cut back to Stefano, who finally wakes up, and he goes back to the hotel, and then he sees Alessandra sleeping on the bed. Nope.
Mm-mm.
They killed the light of the movie. They killed the sweet, sexy Alessandra. Ain't right, man.
Mm-mm.
So in his grief, we see Alessandro pet cemeterying her.
Yeah.
So he decides to bring her back to life by dragging her to the K-Zone. And the freaking shot is so good. It's a POV shot from her perspective. If she was looking at him dragging her. And give it up for freaking Gabriel Lavia, man. He's so good in this scene.
He really is.
His sweaty, muscular grief is so good. He buries her. Then he goes and he sits in this hall, this giant hall in the holiday camp area, and just kind of waits. Did you notice the murals on the wall in this scene?
No, sir.
I think this may have been a real place. Like, they didn't just, build this thing. This was like a real thing. Because there's all these creepy murals on the walls of like little deers playing and everything. Something you'd see at like a school,
Right.
And it's creepy because the place looks like it's in Chernobyl. It's been so destroyed and left abandoned. Then, hey, Alessandra's back.
Hooray!
And Stefano runs to greet her. And dude, that look on her face. That smile, it's just a little smile, like Mona Lisa's smile, but like unwholesome. Man, that smile is worth the price of admission. I love it.
Yeah, it is.
Whew. He gives her a big old hug. They do this interesting edit where he turns, like he's holding her and he turns. You're looking at his back and then it turns so you can see the look on his face. And they do like a quick cut to kind of play with you and build the tension. And then all of a sudden, he starts screaming and... Ba-dum-bum-bum, ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. And the movie's over.
Over.
Wow. Whew, that was way complicated.
It really was.
But way worth it.
Definitely.
Before we get into how we like this one, and a few little things here... This was distributed in the U.S. by Motion Picture Marketing.
Right.
They distributed such films as Mausoleum, The Devonsville Terror, which I always think of as the Demonsville Terror.
I've actually seen that. Is that about the haunted piano?
No, what's the haunted piano movie? That's on the horror collection.
Uh-huh.
A bunch of horror collection. No, this is the Devonsville Terror is the one with that Uli Lommel directed.
Oh.
The dude who did Boogeyman. I can do this. I can type this.
You can. Do it. Your new keyboard.
God, it's so hard to type this password when I'm talking.
How do you remember like 75 characters?
It's a miracle.
Horror movie. Your keyboard has a good sound to it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate a good keyboard sound.
What is the name of that movie, dude?
I've seen it. Because it's about the town.
Yeah. Shit on a brick. It's on the Mill Creek pack.
Yeah, it is. Oh, I Googled it, and it says, Mike Medavoy, Shanghai Film Group team on a dual China set World War II projects, The Cursed Piano and Tears of the Sparrow.
That doesn't sound right.
No, it's not right.
I'm gonna get up. I know I have the damn movie.
Yeah.
Alright. I have here in front of me 50 movie pack. I have quite a repertoire of chilling tales.
I'll have nightmares if you go on telling all your horror stories. You've quite a repertoire of chilling tales.
Got it. God, that was easy. You ready?
Yeah.
Demons of Ludlow.
Oh, see, that's why.
Do you want to quickly calculate how many years it would have taken us to remember that on our own without the internet or these boxes?
Oh, I never would have.
I would have. In 2782.
Richard, will you be alive in 2782, or will we be watching a video of Dead Dick?
In the year 2782, if Richard's dick is still alive. Whoa, that was a long way to get around to this.
I'm sorry.
No, that was great. Devonsville Terror, I believe, is a witch movie where the town killed a witch and then her curse comes back. And it's definitely made right around the time as Boogeyman.
Okay.
They also distributed Final Exam.
Ooh.
Which we need to do that on this show one of these days.
Yeah, we do.
And City of the Living Dead.
I've heard of that.
The Italian company, Gaumont Italia, who did the distribution of this, distributed The House with the Yellow Carpet, which you sent me once.
That was one of the very, very, very earliest bootleg gialli I bought based upon the description on Trash Palace.
Yep. Man, good stuff.
I'm looking at it right now.
Very strange movie.
Very.
And they also distributed Halloween 3, Season of the Witch in Italy.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
That'd be fun. Taglines for this movie, one of which you read. One man's search for an ancient secret, and the dead will rise from their graves. The Dutch VHS, I actually looked at it on eBay and translated. It says, cries from the afterlife. Zader.
Zader.
I like that. And then the tagline on the poster that I have is, the dead shall rise, the living shall suffer, they rise at night.
Wow.
I know. Very nice. So, Brad, tell me a little about your history with this film and whether or not you liked it.
Certainly. Back in the olden days, we got films in the mail from Netflix. They would send us discs, and we were on a plan where we got 3 at a time. And we got Zader, however you want to say it, in the mail. And Elizabeth hated it.
Nice.
Didn't think it was very good. Then later we watched it again, and this time Elizabeth hated it, and thought the same thing. I liked it, and of course you and I had always talked about doing it. I've got a burned copy from Netflix. She bought me the VHS, and then I found a pretty nice download. And personally, I think, now with the exception of Fulci and some Argento films and Soavi, I think it's probably the best Italian horror film of the 80s.
Whoa.
You know, I can't really put it up against City of the Living Dead or Inferno, as far, in my opinion, you know, but Zader is right up there with them. I think as far as a director that only, you know, House of Laughing Windows was 6 years before that. And of course I haven't seen all his films, but he did some later ones that I enjoy. The Childhood Friend.
Yeah.
And, what's the
Arcane Sorcerer?
Yeah, the Arcane Sorcerer. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think as far as horror films, I think that it's been doubly disserved by its title. I think it's done a disservice as Revenge of the Dead.
Yeah.
Because you're expecting a full-blown zombie film. But also, why Zader is an appropriate name, it also doesn't scream, rent me, watch me.
Yes.
You know, there's no giveaway whatsoever as to what it's about. But Lavia, I think he does a great job. To me, and it mostly focuses upon the setting there at the end at the school/nudist colony. You've talked about half-remembered, you know, plot threads of horror films all mixed together and becoming The House by the Cemetery. But I often think, you know, if you had seen this film, we've all got the film that we saw when we were a kid, late at night on television or on cable.
Yeah.
And you don't remember what it is and you're trying to explain it to somebody. And I often think about Zader. What if you had seen it and were trying to explain it to somebody? I mean, it wouldn't make any sense.
No, didn't make any sense with us tonight.
Exactly. The thing that I think is interesting is that these people know about the K-zones. They're actively looking for them. But then, are they controlling Faux Don Luigi? Or is he a rogue agent?
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's kind of, on purpose, I assume, a little bit ambiguous.
Totally.
As to what exactly is going on. It's also one of those films that I like to call Mind Your Own Damn Business. If he had just minded his own business, really, in this case, there was absolutely, other than curiosity, no reason to go digging around in this. And in the end, he loses everything. It's one of those conspiracy films where absolutely everyone is in on it.
Yes.
Everyone. If you see a character in this film, they're in on it, except for poor Gabriel Lavia himself. But no, I love it. I think it's great. I think if you were to make a top 5 or top 10 list of best Italian horror from the 80s, I think it has to be on there, in my opinion.
Excellent.
Elizabeth watched it last night with me in preparation for this very show that you're listening to right now. It clicked. She loved it.
Nice.
She's over there right now putting her thumbs up, way up in the air. Just one. Let's see them both. 2 thumbs up.
What? That's quite a change.
She recently got a haircut. I don't know if that had something to do with it. Maybe.
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be.
It's hard to say.
Did she get Gabrielle Lavia's haircut?
Yeah, it's like a curly Jufro kind of haircut. So yeah, I'm thinking you're probably onto something there, Richard.
When you told me that she hated it, what did I tell you in the text?
Hold on, I'll pull it up so I can quote it exactly. I said, she's actually enjoying it this time around. You said, I'd be worried if she wasn't. I said, she has not cared for it in the past. And you said, heresy.
Heresy!
Although she did say Gabrielle Lavia looks like Lon Chaney as the Phantom of the Opera.
Yes, he does. Oh, man. But not as sexy, obviously.
Not quite as much.
Nope. I love this film. I am irrationally in love with this film. It is, this is top 5 of my favorite Italian horrors of all time. Easily top 5.
Really?
Yeah, this is just one of those films that hits me the right way every time. The grim tone, the paranoid, delusional weirdness, the characters who you can't tell if they're on your side or part of it all. And of course, the answer is always they are a part of the conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
This is what makes House of the Laughing Window so special. This is what I think makes a lot of Pupi Avati's thrillers so great, is that tone he brings to things. He's just a masterful director. I saw this as a very young man, possibly 12 or 13 years old, maybe younger. I rented it because of that Revenge of the Dead VHS tape. I was a complete sucker.
Hell yeah.
I was like, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Ooh, man, what's this Revenge of the Dead business? And it was a very interesting sensation picking up that VHS tape when I was a kid, because something about that artwork really got to me. It made me think of death, and it made me think of like corpses rotting. It could have been like, I always remember the artwork having more like maggots and flies coming out. It was really like a weird, specific sensation. It also helped that Video Extron, before it became Blockbuster Video, smelled bad. It was one of the smelliest, weirdest stinks I've ever smelled in my life. That smell of that video store, I can remember it to this day. And so I rented the movie, and it was completely let down that there was no zombie horde, there was no gunshots to the head, there was no exploding heads, there was nothing. There was nothing. Just this weird movie about the dead coming back, and the only zombie in the movie that I even remembered was Don Luigi, so it was not scary. But the movie stuck with me in my brain.
I'm sure it did.
Because it's too eccentric not to stay in your brain somewhere.
And it's not for beginners.
It's
like if you're just getting into Italian horror, this is not one that I would recommend.
No, not at all. I mean, this would be okay to show to someone who has no interest in horror movies. Like a typewriter or a type-a-writer enthusiast would enjoy this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You were so right. This is something that a seasoned Italian horror fan should give a shot.
It'd be one to try to put over for Christian Bates Hardy.
Totally. I think he'd absolutely dig this movie.
Yeah, I do too.
This is something that if you don't like the first time, give it another shot. There's riches hidden in this very, I keep using the word eccentric, and I really mean it. This is a very outsider kind of a thriller / horror movie.
Absolutely.
And then this movie was very elusive for a long time. I actually wrote an email to Image and begged them to release this because the DVD was perilously out of print.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent me an email back saying, no, the title didn't sell when we had it, and we have no interest in putting it out. I'm like, how did it not sell, idiots? It's out of print.
Yeah.
So that was the last time I wrote to Image. Consequently, the other film that I begged them to re-release was Body Puzzle, so...
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I also wrote to Image about Zeter, but I wrote to Image Comics, and I never got a response.
Oh, well, they didn't send you the adaptation?
Dicks.
So, of course, I managed to find a download of it and revisit it finally, and was just blown away, completely blown away, and very taken with it. This is, well into my Italian horror smorgasbord or whatever I was doing.
Right.
Jubilee, if you will. And then my friend at work, out of the blue, said, oh yeah, I have Zeter. You want to borrow it? And I said, yes. So he lent me his Italian DVD, and I was able to play it in my international DVD player and copy it to a VHS tape. And then eventually I put that VHS tape on DVD art, so I had a copy to watch. And then again, same person, my buddy Scott at work, just gave it to me.
Wow.
He's like, I was going to sell it, but now you can have it. And I was like...
That's amazing.
I was like, dude, you're an idiot. You're going to ask for it back. He's like, no, I don't think I'm going to. And he has never asked for it back.
Wow.
And now the news, of course, is that I guess Code Red has put it out, but I think that's pretty much it.
Well, that's all I got for that, but how would you feel about a little question time? This is question time.
He's a closet!
What? Are you serious?
Dead serious.
Man, folks, it has been a long, hard, and turgid road without some frickin' question time.
I had not mentioned it to you at all.
This is my favorite segment of the show right here. I am ready, sir.
This one, it's not difficult, but I've been thinking since we started the show, we've covered some films that ultimately ended up getting a Blu-ray release, and the two that I think of most prominently would be Symptoms, Jose Larraz's Symptoms.
Yeah.
And the American cut of The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock.
Oh, yeah.
So, here we are, blank years into the show.
Mm.
What have we covered that you still would like to see get a nice Blu-ray release? Just off the top of your head.
Obviously, I was going to cheat and start looking, but I won't look. Next of Kin.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Patrick Swayze movie.
No.
Was that an Australian one or a New Zealand one?
Australian.
That was one I was really keen on getting Naffa to watch, but didn't get to that.
That is a shame.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have happened eventually. Gee, oh god, there's so many just that we've done. Because it was episode 130 something right now. Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Eyeball, of course.
Mm-hmm.
That is bull ass shit that has not been put out properly anywhere. Ugh, what is that about? Jeez, what else? I mean, you and I did an episode. We did some Gialli that still have no blue. I know we did Case of the Bloody Iris at some point.
We certainly did.
All the Colors of the Dark does not have a Blu-ray.
It's coming. I pre-ordered it.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so there you go. It's a win. It's a win.
Mm-hmm. It's Region B, I think, but we'll find out when I get it.
You know which one would be? You know which one I desperately need to reevaluate that you and I had very mixed, not very mixed, but slightly mixed opinions on is Dark Echoes.
Yeah.
The one with Karen Dorr. We covered it, and I'm like, I am so sorry I picked this, because we did 2 unseen movies for the show.
I liked it, kind of.
And you were like, oh, you didn't like that? I'm like, I don't know, it was terrible. And then basically, after the discussion was over, I was like, why wouldn't I have liked that, you know?
It was so bizarre.
Oh, man, that would be so funny to see that just pop up on Mondo Macabro.
One that I think of that I would love a Blu-ray of is The Haunting of Julia.
Oh, you bastard. Right before you started that sentence, I was like, oh, I know. And I held on. But yeah, Haunting of Julia. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen The Haunting of Julia, do it. Do it.
Good.
When that comes out on Blu-ray, have a double feature of that with Symptoms. You will not be disappointed. Wait,
no, not at all.
Wait. You will not disappointed means you'll be disappointed. So take out one of my knots. That was really dumb. Oh shit. Jeez, man. I'm gonna cheat now and just scroll through the list because that's all I can think of. Just gonna go back to our early episodes and see what have we done. Well, I'll tell you one that's getting a Blu-ray is Kairo, aka Pulse.
Really?
The Japanese one. Yeah, that's Arrow's putting that out. I'm excited.
Oh, they'll do it right.
Lietta's scared.
I bet.
Whenever she talks about the movie that scares her the most, she says that one.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, I heard Tourist Trap is a terrible Blu-ray.
You know, it's cheap, but I never sprung for it. It's one of those that Elizabeth bought me on DVD.
Yep. And
I just never bothered. And then later I heard that it wasn't Crescent Fresh.
What? That's pretty uncrescent fresh.
Yeah.
Let's see. Scrolling with the homies.
Did we do Queens of Evil?
No, you reviewed it for Doom Movie-thon.
Yeah.
That needs a Blu-ray.
Boy, that's a good movie.
Man, I'm telling you. Yeah, I think that kind of covers.
Yeah.
You know which one I did with Jeffrey that I wouldn't mind is Satan's Blood. That would be a great Blu-ray. That was the movie I used to mix up with Black Candles all the time.
Yeah. That was an odd one, wasn't it?
And now, whenever people are in a horror forum, like a European horror forum, somebody talks about Black Candles and how much they love it, and I just have to sit there and be like, how do I talk about this without making the person feel bad? Because man,
I'm not a Black Candles fan.
No, sir. And of course, the biggest, I'm going to call it a Blu-ray cock tease, or just a blue cock.
Ooh.
Is one that Jeffrey and I talk about at length, and it keeps coming up over and over again. Demon 6, De Profundis, aka the Black Cat. Scott McDonald mentioned many moons ago that was getting the Blu-ray, and I got so excited because that is easily one of my new favorite Italian horror films of all time.
Absolutely.
And you can find 2 copies, two downloads. One with Japanese subtitles, and one that's slightly better. And what's insane, I can't even process this with my brain. That was on Netflix streaming.
Yep.
For a very limited time. That usually, for a little while at least, guaranteed that movie would just pop up on a Blu-ray. Like it would finally get a real release. And I guess they couldn't generate enough interest, or the company we're talking about, whoever the hell they were, gone. But man, I would dance in the streets.
Spider Labyrinth.
Spider Labyrinth, good call. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
that's such a great movie. I wrote about that for my pal Eric over at Theater of Guts.
Very nice.
That's a fun movie. Very, very unique tone to that one. So highly recommend if you can track that one down. But man, that's a great question, Tom. I loved it.
Excellent. I thought I'd throw one in.
Yeah. Good job. We got to have question time back. No pressure.
Oh, I got you.
I guess it would help if I came up with question time for you too, like I used to.
Well, we just how many episodes is this that I've recorded this year? 3?
Yeah, but it's only like May.
It's only like halfway through the year.
Well, every episode with you is gold.
Well, thank you.
You'll hear in an upcoming episode of Hello, This is the Doom Show, I discussed our roles of our show. I said, well, Brad is the heart. I said, Jeffrey, you are the brains of the show. And I said, I am the anus.
No. No, you are the lifeblood of the show.
Ooh. I like to pump through you.
There you go.
Oh, God. Woo! Man, you know who never had to put up with that bullshit? Tim the Toolman Taylor, because his tool was always locked in his wife's toolbox.
That's right.
What was his neighbor?
Wilson. That's who I've become. I'm the Wilson of the show.
Oh, because the guy who was always masturbating behind the fence.
That's me.
That's why they never showed his face, because he was a sex offender.
They didn't live very close to a school. They couldn't.
He had to go around to everybody's fence in the neighborhood and tell them about his crimes.
Yeah.
In detail. Like, no, you're just supposed to tell us that you're a criminal. You're not supposed to tell us what you did. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what isn't good. The Halloween episodes of Home Improvement. Woo.
Oh, man. They don't even make it into the rotation at the Schmidt house, do they?
We tried. It didn't work.
I bet it didn't.
I'm sure I'm breaking Jeffrey's heart. I know he's a fan.
Really?
Of at least the Halloween episodes.
I don't remember them. I like Galaxy Quest a lot.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We have to talk about this. So the trailer for what is it called? The poop, the Meridian, the Enclave, the Flappity Doo, the Star Trek parody with Seth MacFarlane.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck out of here with that.
I didn't watch the trailer because I'm not a Seth MacFarlane fan. Really.
I gave it a fair shake. I said, okay, this is your time. Wow me. And I was like, man, I want to beat this trailer with my shoe.
In my opinion, they're not going to top Galaxy Quest.
No.
For a Star Trek parody.
God, I told my friend that Seth MacFarlane is non-negotiable.
You know, I saw that and I agreed with it on Facebook. I remember. Because
I'm sorry, it's Seth MacFarlane.
MacFarlane.
Who's the MacFarlane who came up with Spawn?
Todd McFarlane.
That's Todd McFarlane. I'm not sure about him either, but I definitely will take him over Seth MacFarlane.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm just not a fan.
This has been the Hollywood Minute with Hello, This is the Doom Show. The Orville looks like a big bag of garbage.
I didn't watch it, but I hate it anyway.
He can never top Ted or Ted 2. I'm serious.
I didn't see him.
Me neither. Because they have the non-negotiable man in them. He should do a movie called The Non-Negotiable Man.
Yeah. I heard that, was it 1,001 Ways to Die in the West?
Ooh, 1 billion.
1 billion. I heard it was horrible.
Yeah, it's actually 1 billion. I was kidding.
Well.
Oh, excuse me, it's 1 million. So close. I can't even make fun of stuff.
Sure you can.
It's too good. We just lost our whole Seth MacFarlane listenership.
Oh my gosh. Sir, it has been my pleasure to be on the show this evening.
Yes, sir. It is always a pleasure to talk to you.
I pledge right now to record again next week if there is no calamity in either of our lives.
I love it. I like non-calamities.
Well, this year we talked about it. We're like, okay.
We have a list.
Richard's like, hey, Brad, why don't you be on the show that you were on? And I'm like, yeah. And then Elizabeth's dad died and this and that. And
it's been a shit year.
Yeah. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
But no, let's record next week.
We're doing this.
Keep going.
We're doing this.
I enjoy it. You know, there were stretches in like 2015 where we recorded 4 weeks in a row.
Yep.
And then we'd take a week or so off and then come back and record 4.
Yeah.
And I would like to get back closer to that.
Well, I'm glad we got rid of the 3-hour episodes.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's just, honestly, if you go back, in my opinion, and this is inside baseball, but I feel like it's been a natural progression.
Yeah.
Where, an hour and a half, an hour 40, something like that is about right.
I agree. I completely agree.
And I'll think up some question times.
I will too.
Some different, we used to do some different segments. I liked it when I'd write down lines from your reviews and to have you guess which one it was.
And you're like, this will be great. And I'm like, what the fuck is this movie?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't write that.
We know the world famous line about the hearse.
Yep. Which, of course, I'm about to eat those words when I take a look at that Blu-ray. But I said I would rather throw myself down a flight of stairs than ever watch the hearse again.
It's weird. I have a desire to pull out my DVD and watch it again.
I'm telling you, that was back when I just wanted something else from horror movies. And now that Jeffrey, through his picks, has completely destroyed my taste, I think I'm going to love the hearse. And, anytime you think you know what you're looking for in a film, watch Nightmare Weekend. And then you will learn that you have a whole new side to your personality where terrible shit is perfect.
You didn't even know what you were missing.
No, I fully expect me to turn around completely on the hearse. I'm excited.
Yeah, and it's, a Blu-ray almost always helps a film. Joseph Cotten.
Oh man, I'm telling you. I hope he has that creepy makeup like he had in Whisper in the Dark. Talk about some underrated ass Italian movies, man. Nobody talks about Whisper in the Dark.
Nobody.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, I like that. I like The Attic. That movie he did, was it 1980? 83, I can't remember.
Seen that.
Yeah, I like that one. He really had no one ever talks about Joseph Cotten in a horror.
Yeah. Baron Blood, come on.
Baron Blood, Dr. Phibes.
Oh, yeah. Was he in the sequel or was he in the first one?
No, he's just in the first one.
Okay. Gotcha.
What a great movie.
Man, I'm going to be wearing some cotton, thinking about Joseph.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, man. Good night, folks. Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Later, Brad.
See ya.
Hello, This is the Doom Show is a proud member of the Legion Podcast Network. Please check out the other shows at legionpodcasts.com. If you want more of Hello, This is the Doom Show, check out doomedmoviethon.com or hellodoomedshow.podomatic.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at doomedmoviethon or email the show doomedmoviethon@gmail.com. We're also in the air. Look up.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of her.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this movie.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history
up.
all popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was going to be a rough
How did you watch this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.